Hello everybody on YouTube, it's your boy the Memphis XLR8, and welcome you once again to check this out. The show we take a look at our deck we're going to take a look at, and take it out into the EDO Pro, the Wild West of Yu-Gi-Oh! And we have ourselves a good old time. So for today is day number 5 of our special Scrap Week, a week of scrap decks. And we're taking a look at Dinomist Scraps, which is a deck that's 1 part scrap combo, 1 part Dinomist Pendulum Summoning, along with some cheeky tech options and some fun shenanigans. So, we got ourselves a nice little deck here today that we're going to be taking out in the Wild West of Yu-Gi-Oh! And seeing how it go. You know? All we're going to do is just jump right into it and see how it goes. So, real quick, of course, we're going to go into the deck list, and then we're going to get right into them duels. Of course, consider the buttons below at your discretion. And without further ado, let's get into that deck list. So for our main deck, we have 2 copies of Dinomist Spinos and 2 Dinomist Rex, 2 copies of Scrap Golem, 3 copies each of Dinomist Ceratops and Brachion, 2 each of Dinomist Terran and Plesios, a single Chimera, triple Scraptor, triple Ath Blossom, 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 copies of Pendulum Xyz, 3 copies of Fossil Dig. We have 1 Terraforming, 3 copies of Dinomist Charge, 3 Scrap Factory, and 3 Dinomist Howling. As to the extra deck, we have things like Masquerena, Beyond the Pendulum, 2 copies of Scrap Wyvern, Nightmares Phoenix and Unicorn, 1 Appaloosa the Bruiser, 1 Bogusk, 1 copy of Cyber Dragon Nova, and 1 Infinitrack, 1 F.A. Dawn Dragster, a Draco Berserker, a Borlode Savage Dragon, 1 copy of Stellar Wolf Wolfrayet, and Scrap Twin Dragon. As for the side deck, if you want to make like a level 10 synchro, like Baron de Fleur, you'll need a bigger tuner. You can have things like Sea Monster Theseus, as you can summon it with Instant Fusion, or any level 5 tuner that you can think of off the top of your head, but this is a nice, neat little combo here. Also, things like Lightning Storm, if you find yourself going second more often, you might want to check out, the fun tech for the more blow up the annoying board tech. Also, things like Wavering Eyes, if you find yourself in a Pendulum Mirror match, is a really good card, because you can pop all the scales. You pop 2 of your opponent's scales, you get a Pendulum monster. If you pop yours and your opponent's, well, you get another copy of Wavering Eyes, banish a card, add a card, do damage. It does a whole bunch of things. And also, this looks like a perm. Same rule applies with Lightning Storm. If you're going second and you need interruptions, this can be helpful. So, that's the deck we'll be taking a look at today. Let's go ahead now into the wild... I'm going to keep calling it that. Let's just go into the duels, everybody. Let's go into the back street alleys of Chicago, of Yu-Gi-Oh! And see how this deck does. Alright, here, our first opponent. Another day, another card game. We're going first today to go second. We have options to go second, but we'd like to start by going first. So, this opening hand, not great, but it's got the potential to do things, so we will do those things. We're going to go ahead for the scrap combo. I won't explain that as much because, if you've been watching the scrap week, you know how this combo works. It's pretty straightforward. So I activate a scale. We need a card on the board for this, and we're going to normal summon our Scrap Chimera. Briefly, I will mention, yesterday we were doing Scrap and Mech Lords. That deck turned out pretty good. There was actually a lot more synergy than I was expecting between Scraps and Mech Lords. Now, with Dinomist, it's not as obvious. I really need Dinomist Charge to make the synergy more apparent. But at the very least, I will be able to do something here. I would have liked my Pendulum Xyz. That would have been real nice to draw into, but we'll make do. So let's summon out our Scrap Golem. We'll pop Ceratops. Okay, I was worried he was going to make Nibiru on my face. That would have been not so good. But for now, let's go ahead. Let me think. Do I need to do any more scaling? We'll go ahead and set up the scales, just to have more stuff on the board. I do like to have some stuff on the board. And we're just going to go nice and simple for this first duel. Let's start with this thing. Stellar Wind Wolfrayet. Every time monster effect resolves, he gets a bit stronger. Once he's at 4,000 or more, I can banish, or not banish, shuffle him and every monster my opponent controls back into the deck. The bane of a combo deck. That, you know, it has its weaknesses, obviously. It needs to have a certain level of attack to do anything. But he don't know that. I mean, how many people who play this game actually read the cards? Very few. So, this guy is playing Relinquished. Ooh. It's actually similar to Maro's deck, which is Scrap Kaijus, actually. That's kind of interesting. So, we're up against a Relinquished deck. That could be a tricky wicket. Because he can just, you know, steal my Wolfriet, which would not be fun for me. But sometimes that's the name of the game. You set up your deck, you set up your boards, you have an idea of what you're trying to go up against. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. What is this? Effect Veiler. Well, it is Effect Veiler. I'm not trying to do poker face. That's actually me in surprise. Magical Dimension. Okay. But no spellcasters to discard? Interesting. Alrighty. What do Memphis have at the moment? Well, I can Pendulum Summon these. I could do that. Let me think about this. So, what we're going to go ahead and do here... Normal Summon Scrapdoor. Activate his effect to pop himself. That way I can get my field spell. We're not going to use Wyvern just yet. That will come. But not just yet. I need to get rid of this thing. It's not going to be hard to get rid of this. Unless this has targeted... No. It's only when it's attacked. Okay. This should work just fine. So we're going to go for Scrap Wyvern. We're going to bring back... I really wish I could keep Golem, but I do not get to do this. Because in order to do this, I need to pop both of these. So, Wyvern will go off. Factory will go off. I get 2 scraps for the price of 1. So we'll summon out the Refrigerator. And we shall summon out our last Scrap Raptor. And then I get to pop one of my opponent's cards. Yeah. I'll trust this. I mean, what's the worst it could be? It's just a set card. So, what we're going to go ahead and do here, we're going to summon out our Raptor. And our opponent will surrender. Well, that is unfortunate. I guess that face down was something I could trust after all. So, there's an idea with this deck. We didn't get to do the Dinomist as much. I mean, I was going to summon Plesios at one point. Unfortunately, my opponent surrendered, though, so good for the scrap section, but we need to see more of the Dinomist. So let's go for duel number 2. Hopefully we'll get some more Dinomist action. I'm ready to scrap Dinomist, not scrap. We need to see some Dinomists doing what they do. So let's go for duel number 2 and show off some Dinomist stuff. Alrighty, second opponent, let's go and do it again. And this time we'll let our opponent go ahead and go first. That's fine. We can go second. Opening hand is... Okay, then. Arcus. I forgot this guy existed. What's he going to be playing next? Rogue? The Lightsworn? I got to plug a phone in 1 second. Okay. I plugged it in. It's not in the wall, but it is plugged in. Okay, so what does this guy do exactly? Neither player can target Lightsworns anywhere with card effects. So I can't Monster Reborn you? That's actually pretty interesting. I forgot that he could do that. I knew he did the mill thing because he's a Lightsworn. Although, you know, I did mention Lightsworn Rogue, and that does not actually do that. Let's see here. Okay. Interesting opening hand. I at least have scale. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of both. Little bit of everything. So we're going to play the Dinomist. They are pendulum scales. We're going to pendulum summon our boy, Scrap Golem. Yep. Sheesh. It's not that bad. At least I don't think so. Let me think about it. That's a spicy combo. Oh, well... Thank you. I appreciate that. Alright, let me think about this. So, if I do the scrap combo, I won't have anything to blow up, though. I can blow up my field spell, though. Okay. We're gonna do a little bit of everything. Here's what we're gonna do. Summon that Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom, she's nice. I mean, partly she's here as a hand trap, obviously. She's also my other tuner. But she's also useful for making my Wyvern. Good old Wyvern. He's so good. He's amazing. Any 2 monsters, including a scrap, and you get all the utility in the world. Except for the fact that I had to lose 1 golem to do this, but c'est la vie. So, Wyvern will go ahead and get us our Raptor. And then I will pop this, because I don't trust it. And let me think about this. So, pretty much, like, there's no point in doing other things. So, what I'm going to do here is... Tricky. You know what? I'm going to go for the scraps. There's a scrap deck. I'm going to make scraps. Gotta have my scraps. And you know what else we gotta have? Pendulum Exceeds. And you do want to make sure you don't negate this. And so what this card does, you take your 2 scales, summon them to the board, and then you can pendulum, or you can exceed summon with them. And the nice thing is, if you have different levels, it doesn't matter. You can treat one as the level of the other. And so we'll make Cyber Dragon, Infinitrack, which I just realized will not work on Arcus, because he can't be targeted. Ooh. Who would have guessed Arcus was so powerful? Alright, so that'll take care of Arcus. What was this anymore? Oh, that's the trap that negates. I will give this guy credit. I mean, it takes some balls to play a Lightsworn with a trap. Almost as much balls as it takes to play Lightsworn Rogue. Even I wouldn't consider playing a that card, and I've played Moki Turbo. Both the beatdown version and the combo version, I should add. So, my opponent, you know, we'll see what he can do. I've got a Negat. That's the one thing, but I only have the one Negat. What is this? Oh, it's just Jane. I will not negate this. I could, but I legitimately do not want to. Because that would be mean. So, my opponent, you know, he's just got Jane. That's going to be milling some cards. Go right ahead. And he didn't mill the thing he wanted. Ooh, I could summon Rex. Oh, I kind of want to. You know what? Dinomist need to be on the board. You know what? Go away, Infinity. You ruined the mood. Dinomist Rex, baby. We're just going to go for Dinomist Rex and attempt to swing for game. There you go. So, Rex, he didn't get to do damage. I was worried about it, to be honest. And so, you know, there you go. That's what happens when you get a little bit more into the janky combos. And admittedly, my opponent wasn't as... No, this wasn't like the strongest Lightsworn deck in the world, but he said nice things about my deck. And for that, I appreciate. So let's go for a third duel. And we'll see if we finish strong. Alrighty, everybody. Third opponent. Last chance for more romance. And, you know, we'll let our opponent go first this time. It's fine. This is an alright, okay hand for going a second. I mean, I got Dinomist. No. I like my hand. Thank you. I kind of like my hand. I like it right there. So, I will say... Oh! It's the Revenge of the Lightsworns. Okay. That's cool. I mean, we get a double dose of Lightsworns. We get to see a little bit more of what they... Phoenix Boy. Memphis no like Phoenix Boy. He is a mean boy. Alright, well, regardless of that... What is... Oh, he's got a Rochi. Okay, I was about to say... What's it waiting for? So, we're just going to have to go whole hog into this one, folks. We shall see. I mean, I do have... That is my only 6 scale. Alright. Brachios. And sadly, I don't have a scrap right now. This hand would be godly if I just had one scrap monster in my hand. Because then I could show off the synergy with the deck, you know, because I have Dinomist Charge. so I can pop my scales and then immediately get them back. It's a beautiful thing. It just happens that my opponent, well, not my opponent, I didn't draw a scrap monster. I drew the field spell, which is cool, but this doesn't work with Dinomist. Only this little bit. That's the one thing, like I said, that I don't like as much about Scrap Dinomist. It's a cool deck, but there's a little less synergy than you'd think. It's unfortunate, but true. Alright, so let's get Dinomist howling. That way we can howl at the moon like the werewolves we are. Are Dinomist werewolves? I don't think so. They're steam-powered dinosaurs. I learned that from Master Duel. Because apparently Master Duel had to, you know, say that out loud for people to figure that out. I'm always so... I wouldn't say I'm mad, but I'm always weirded out that Master Duel's story mode is so... Like, some of the stories make sense. Like the Shiranui one, that makes sense. And, I mean, the Six Samurai one was, like, the most obvious thing in the world. So I'm not going to give that too much credit. Chaos Creator. Target 3 banished monsters with different names, which he doesn't have yet. But he could get them. Alright. I'll be some of the Master Duel stories are, like, very obvious things. And some of them are actually decent, but I really wish... I know that solo mode of Master Duel isn't meant for, like, the story, but I kind of like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore that they put in here. I mean, heck, Geargia's got, like, the whole superhero treatment. Why do other decks not get anything? Alright, well, the Chaos Creator will attack me. Therefore, Dinomist Howling. And let's see. No. Just gonna go ahead and get this back right to my hand. And he will be able to blow up my things, but... This is a big old but. I'm gonna Tribute off Terran and bounce the Creator. That way he doesn't get to use its effects. I'll take the damage, but I think I can survive. All I need is a Scrap Raptor. And I got 6 copies in my deck. I'm not going to do the math. But I think the math is on my side of the board. Alrighty. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Dangerous as that is, I'm going to take them odds. So, this is the part where we pretty much just kind of go for it. Let's go ahead and Pendulum Summon because I have that power. And We'll just Pendulum Summon everything. 1 Terran over here. 1 Ceratops over there. We'll use our Scraptor's effect. And luckily Orochi is not a quickie, otherwise I would be a lot more worried, but it is not, so we're good. So, let's go ahead and get our Chimera, start doing combo. And hey, you know, yeah, those aren't his turn, so I actually do get to show off that synergy now. So, we'll normal summon our Scrap Chimera, bring back the Scraptor, and I'm going to leave him on the board, that way I can do some stuff and things with him. So... yes, because I only need these 2. So we're going to use these 2, make Draco Berserker. That way I just have that on the board. And then my boy left the board, so I can just get him back to my hand, normal summon him. Baby, here's that synergy. Sweet, sweet synergy. And, you know how this song and dance is going to go. We're going to bring back the boy. Pop the boy. Summon the refrigerator. I'm like one of them discount warehouses full of refrigerators. All refrigerators must go. All refrigerators are now 99.9% off, but they must go right now. So, let's bring back Scraptor. And he can't just bring this back whenever. I believe I can banish it from the grave, though. Can I not? I'm pretty sure I can do that. Can I? I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Yeah, he activates a monster effect, I can banish it. So we shall summon forth our boy. And let's see. Do I go for Wolfrat? Let's go for Wolfrat. Wolfrat's cool. He's a big old wolf. We'll use our Golem, bring back our Scraptor once more. And summon it to my field. Yeah. That'll activate Wolfriet's effect. That way I just get more stuff. Alright. I think... I don't know. Do you guys at home think that that was enough? I think he's had enough. Let's go ahead for OTK. I think that... Yeah, that's more than OTK. That's plenty of damage. So, there's going to be our win against Lightsworns yet again. Surprisingly enough. You know, it's going to run us a little long, but I'm going to go ahead and go one more duel. Because we have had a pretty easy day with it right now. I would like to go one more duel, just to be safe. Just to be safe. Alrighty, fourth and final opponent, bonus duel. And go second again. Second worked pretty good last time. I'll work with it. Alrighty, opening hand is a little rough. Little rough. We'll see. We'll see. Heavy forward. Infinitracks. Alrighty. That could be tricky. We'll find out in a moment. We got double Ash, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. So summon a machine from the hand. And then you can make them both become the combined levels, so... Oh! This is... what you call it? Ancient Gear Infinitracks. Ooh, heavy metal machinery. A little boy's greatest dream. Alrighty, so he's gonna have two level 8s. That will typically mean... That can mean a lot of things, obviously. Can he summon other monsters? I believe he can, so... Oh, Lancelot. Ooh. That's a tricky one. That's an Omni... Never mind. He's gonna overlay on top of it into Pain Gainer. What was the point of Lancelot? I mean, I understand what he's doing here. He's trying to make a number 77. Cool dude, number 77. He's got some built-in protection and can blanket banish everything on the board. So it's not like a bad card or anything. It's just like Lancelot's an Omni-Negate. Granted, it's a two-way Omni-Negate where you can negate yourself. But I digress. Let's go ahead into Infinity Boy. I think Infinity Boy, much as I don't like Infinity all the time, sometimes I need him. So, let's get Spinos. I haven't seen Spinos yet. This is the fourth duel. I can play whatever. It's all good. So we'll go for Plesios. We'll go for our Spinos. We'll go for the Pendulum Exceeds. And, no. There you go. And I suppose I could make Baguska, but obviously I am not going to do that. I could. That is an option if you're, like, going first or even second and you just need, like, a little bit of a Bagusk to sit on for a minute. That is an option. But thankfully we will not need the Baguska today. I'm just going to steal this. Kind of ironic because number 77 turns other monsters into Xyz material. And now he himself is Xyz material. Little ironic. So, that'll take care of my opponent's opening. I mean, I've got a big, beefy Cyber Dragon boy. So long as he doesn't have Chimera Tech, which I've been guilty of playing a Chimera Tech in my extra deck for no real reason other than to out Cyber Dragons. Let's see. Add an Ancient Gear card. No. Stop trying to search. I'm sorry. Normally, I would love it for my opponent to search, especially when they're playing a very cool deck like Infinitrack Ancient Gears. But I know full well how much damage this deck can put on if he happens to do the searching. I would love to let him search. I really would. But if I do, he will break my knees. I kind of need those. So let's just go ahead for these two. Good old Ceratops and Brachion. They're like brothers. Alrighty, well, the scraps are here in spirit, if nothing else. This is very much a Dinomist sort of duel, but at the very least, we are doing what we want to do. So, we'll attack direct. And duel's not over. He could come back from this, I'm sure. He just needs, like, you know, if he can bait out my infinite negate or not so much infinite. If we can negate out infinity's negate. Ooh, yeah, if I destroy that, that would be bad. I'm not that dumb, my friend. You're gonna have to be a little more clever than these things. I'm detaching... here, you can have this back. This is your card. You can have it back. I give it to you in good faith. Yep, and that'll be the end of that, because I stopped it. See, I'm a little too clever to just blow up Gear down. I wasn't born yesterday. So, I think that'll be it for today's episode, folks. We got to show off the deck, show off what it can do. Our opponents weren't the strongest, but we got to show off what we're trying to do, and that's the idea. So let's go for the end screen. Alrighty, everybody, scrap Dinomist. I'm only going to count this as a 3-0, because honestly, the first Lightsworn guy, he was a really cool dude. I'm not going to lie. Actually, I'm going to count his and not the other one. Basically, we're going to count all the Lightsworns as one, because we never really got to see all of Lightsworn in action. And honestly, if they'd gone all out and done everything, probably wouldn't have been as easy for us. But this deck, it doesn't have as much synergy with the scraps as you'd think. It does have a little bit, but all in all, I was surprised that it did okay. You know, definitely not a meta kill. It's still a very casual deck. Not going to kill the meta with this deck, but you know, if you just want to have yourselves a good old time with Dinomists and you want something different, give the scrap variant a try. It works. It works, you know? You know, I'm sure there's other things you could do with it to make it more, like, consistent in this game full of negates and interrupts and things like that. And you probably switch Harpies for Call by the Grave and top deck it every time to save your butts. But, all in all, I'm happy with how the deck turned out. I'm happy with it. So, thank you, as always, for watching. As always, give the buttons below a shot if you happen to have made it to this part of the video. And I've interested you and, you know, enriched your lives even a bit. Just, you know, at least hit the like button. That's all I ask. And tomorrow we're taking a look at Scrap Kaijus, which is going to be an interesting one. We'll see how that one works. It's going to be very much a going second. We're going to go back to Scrap Roots going second. So, your boy Memphis will see you guys next time with more Yu-Gi-Oh! Action. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, and y'all have a good time.